as we finish editing our hair, let's remove the hairs behind her neck and also remove this hair from this area. And then we also fix some things up here around the waist. Control A or Command A, make a new layer, go to Image, copy, merge, and then paste it. And we're gonna call it General Fixes. So how do we get rid of this hair? Well, first of all, let's make a selection. I'm using pen tool. Another way to make a selection, if you have harsh differences between your subject and the background, you can use the magnetic lasso tool. This one. And you can start from here, and as you can see, I'm not clicking, I'm just letting the tool doing the job for me. And as easy as this, now we have a selection. But as you can see, it's not a perfect selection. It's not exactly there, but I think it's good enough. We can furthermore adjust it using our polygonal lasso tool. So what we can do is with our polygonal lasso tool is holding the Alt key and just removing this area. But this will gonna be a hassle. So for me, the easiest way to make a selection is with the pen tool. So it's not gonna take too long. I can have perfect control over my areas. I can zoom in. I can cut out exactly what I want. Going around our earring. Now going down the neck, just like this. I think it's perfect. Now let's zoom out. Close this selection. And then we're gonna make a selection with the feather radius 0 pixels. Now let's take the clone stamp, S, change the sample to current layer, lower your opacity, make the clone stamp a little bigger, take a sample and just paint this extra hair away. as easy as this. Perfect. Now we are left with this hair and this part around the dress, around the color of the dress. So again, on the same layer, I'm gonna use the clone stamp tool, but make the brush a little smaller. Again, sample around the image and just paint it. I'm going to lower my opacity here because I see a hard line between this black area and this gray area. And I want to blend these two colors perfectly. I think I can get rid of this label. I suppose it's a label over there. And here we are. Now we also get rid of the hair around the collar. Now we are left here with the hairs around the neck. So what am I gonna do is using, again, the healing brush tool, I'm just gonna remove the bigger hairs, the hairs that are very, very obvious. And then what I'm gonna use is the dust and scratches tool that we learned in the previous lessons. So I'm gonna make another selection here, only on this area. Control J, I'm gonna call it dust and scratches. Go into the filter, noise, dust and scratches. Now let's see how is this affecting our image. I think this is fine. We can no longer see these dark hairs, which, by the way, they are normal. And now we're just gonna create another mask, invert this mask, go on our brush, and then paint with the white on top on our current layer. And that's it. Now look at this. Perfect. I think this is perfect. Now, let's move on to this chin area and let's remove also these lines. And we're also gonna tackle this facial hair around the chin. I'm making again another layer, another merge layer. And I'm gonna call it facial hair and general fixes. So when you open the PSD file, you'll know what's this about. Gonna hold Control plus S to save it again. Again, I'm gonna make a selection here using our pen tool. I remember when I was using my old camera, which was Canon 5D Mark II. It was a fantastic camera, but I remember each time I get back at the office or at home to edit the pictures, I didn't have this level of details in my pictures. Even when I was like closing up and I did really close-up portrait shots, I didn't have this kind of details in the picture. And now with the new technology, look at this. I've taken these pictures at an 85 millimeters, quite far away. We also have this space around the model, and now zooming in, we have an astonishing level of details with the new cameras around. Any camera doesn't even matter which brand you use. The newest cameras are amazing. Again, make a selection. I'm gonna use the feather radius at 1. And again, using clone stamp. Oops. Go back, Control Z. Sometimes these big files take a while to save, but there's no problem. You can make yourself a cup of tea while the file saves. It's better to always save the file rather than getting to the end of editing an image and then maybe something crashes. Adobe is renowned for a few epic crashes, especially if you're using more than just Photoshop from Adobe. Maybe Premiere, if it sounds familiar to you, it crashes a lot. So always save your work. And not especially when you're editing your picture. Even if you get back home from a photo shoot or exactly after the photo shoot, get yourself a mini laptop or a PC or something, or a hard drive or an external hard drive. Just create always a backup. You never know. Just be safe. Create a backup. You don't know, maybe a card crashes. Maybe you step on a SD card, or maybe a file is corrupted and you didn't know, or maybe your backpack gets stolen, or I don't know, anything can happen. It's better to be safe than sorry. Just back up your files. You will thank me later. All right, we also clean this area. Now we're gonna move to the belt. And this is a simple fix. We're just gonna use the clone stamp tool, and we're just gonna use our creativity and rebuild this cloth. Let's see. I'm gonna increase my opacity here to 94%. Using the clone stamp the best I can. You will not get the best result at first, but you just need to come closer and closer and then refine your last result. You don't, like I do, I didn't get this blending from the first place. but after you can get there. There's no worries. It's always, with the images, there are always some back and forth situations. I think I'm gonna switch my tool and go to my patch tool and see how it's handling. Okay, a little bit better. It blends the texture better now. Also, let's see if we can solve this patch here. Okay, so we are left with this area. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a rough selection around this, which I'm gonna copy and paste it, then transform it with Control plus T, and then bring it up here. Bring it up. And then I'm gonna right click on it and I'm gonna click on warp. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna bend my selection around the belt where it could be. Just like this. Pretty satisfying. I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I'm gonna create a mask on my, let's call it belt. Going on my brush, switch to my black color. And by the way, if you want to quickly switch between these two swatches, just click X. And then I'm gonna delete the edges. And let's zoom out to see how is it. It's better, but you can still see in this area that it was modified. And I want to go back on my main layer and let's see if we can fix it with our patch tool. Better, I think. Let's see if we can blend it more. Oh, okay. Pretty satisfying, isn't it? I think it's good. Now that I can see, I think we can also blend this part of the belt. Yep. Quick fix. Now look at this. Before and after. Now we just manipulated our image. Now that we fixed our general issues with our picture, it's time to move on to liquify.